folks, welcome again to one of the most enthralling, exciting, enlightening and entertaining session of Science Scamper for classes 6 to 8 by Educative, and I am your super science teacher Ambika. At Educative, we always ensure to empower all our students as how to think and not what to think. So if you want to experience the same, subscribe to the Educative's YouTube channel. The subscription button is just given below, guys. If you like our video, don't forget to press the like button and ensure to hit the bell icon to get all the latest updates from Educative. Now let's start today's session, and the topic for the day is physical and chemical changes, something with which we encounter daily in our life, even in our body, but we don't know that actually we are observing and encountering with physical and chemical changes. So we are going to study that what are their characteristic features and some examples of them. Now let's start today's session and the topics which we are going to study under them. So we are going to study about physical changes, then we are going to study about crystallization, chemical change or chemical reaction, then chemical change, that is rusting of iron, galvanization, and characteristics of chemical reaction. Now let's see the first one, that is physical changes. So any change in basically few things like size, shape, state, taste is known as a physical change. So any change, किसी भी इनमें से किसी में भी अगर change आता है जो कि है size, shape, state, color and taste, if इन पांचों में से किसी में भी अगर change आता है तो ऐसे change को आप क्या कहते हैं? A physical change. There is no formation of any new substance. No new substance is formed. Only in the previous substance or in the older substance, a change will come in any of these 5 characteristics. Then that kind of a change is a physical change. Physical change are generally reversible, not always, but yes, sometimes. Few examples are shown to you, like breaking glass. No new substance is formed. It's a glass, it will break into small pieces. Then mixing candies. No new substance is formed. Different candies are kept, you have mixed them. Then shredding paper, folding paper. If you have folded the paper, the shape of the paper has changed, but is still a paper. पहले भी paper था, अब भी paper है, सिर्फ shape में change आया है, a physical change. Then melting ice, a physical change. पहले भी water था, पहले solid state में था, अब liquid state में आ गया, only change in the state, still water, a physical change. Then chopping wood, cutting hair, पहले भी बाल थे, length कम हो गई है, size में change आया है, physical change. Dry ice sublimation, boiling water, again change in the state. पहले liquid water था, अब water vapor हो गया, still water, only change in the state. कोई नया substance बना है? No. Reversible, water vapor can again convert it to liquid water by condensation. Physical change. So these are a few examples of physical change. Now let's move ahead. Crystallization. Now crystallization is also an example of a physical change. Crystallization is basically separation of pure crystals of a substance from its solution. That means, for example, you have taken a vessel and it's on the flame. Okay. Now in this you have water. And you have added sugar. Now you know sugar will dissolve in this water. It's already being heated. But a point will come, you are keep on adding sugar. Keep on adding sugar. Keep on adding sugar. But a point will come when the solution will not take any more sugar. Because at that point, the solution would have become a saturated solution. Isn't it? और आपको पता है कि सैचुरेटेड सॉल्यूशन का मतलब ये होता है कि अब उसमें और सॉल्यूट डिसॉल्व नहीं होगा, इट्स हैज़ कम टू इट्स फुल कैपेसिटी. अब इसमें शुगर डिसॉल्व नहीं होगा. देन यू पुट इट आउट सेपरेटली, फिर आप इसको अलग निकाल लीजिए, उठा लीजिए फ्लेम पे से, एंड देन पोर दिस लिक्विड इनटू अनदर वेसल. ओके, होगा क्या कि जो शुगर डिसॉल्व नहीं हुई है वो तो नीचे सेटल डाउन हो गई होगी, उसको अलग रहने दीजिए. अब इसमें जो आपका सोल्यूशन है, लेट इट कूल डाउन. and once it is cooled down, you will see that the crystals, small crystals of sugar has been formed. Those are pure crystals of sugar, and that is how the process of crystallization takes place. That from the solution, you have obtained the pure crystals of the solute. That is crystallization. Okay, the change in shape, size and state, but not any chemical process. Obviously state में change आया, size में change आया, shape में change आया, but कोई chemical process नहीं हुई, कुछ भी ऐसा नहीं हुआ. It is a type of a physical change, and crystals of like urea, copper sulfate, alum, etc. are formed like this. Alright, now let's move ahead. Chemical change, also known as chemical reaction, one or the same thing, when one or more substance combine together to form a new substance, maybe with the absorption of energy or maybe the release of energy, but a new substance is formed. So whenever a new substance is formed, it is a chemical reaction or a chemical change. A chemical reaction can be written in a form of equation which is known as chemical equation. That means A plus B gives C plus D. So these are known as reactants and these are known as products. Okay, now reactants are basically those substances which undergo a change, and products are basically those substances which are formed after the reaction. जो change जिनमें आ रहा है वो reactants हैं, जो change के बाद new substance बने हैं those are products. Now few examples of chemical change or chemical reaction are like combustion, rusting, digestion. Digestion in our body is a chemical change. New substance is formed. You know that complex food molecules are converted to simple soluble form. नया सब्सटेंस बन गया है. फोटोसिंथेसिस, ऑब्वियसली कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड, वाटर, सनलाइट एंड क्लोरोफिल कंबाइन टू फॉर्म ग्लूकोज एंड वाटर, न्यू सब्सटेंस. बैटरीज, फर्मेंटेशन, वॉशिंग, बेकिंग. बेकिंग में यू आर बेकिंग कुकीज, यू हैव पुट द बैटर and a pure cookie has come out which is completely different. New substance has been formed. So whenever there is a formation of a new substance with the absorption or release of energy, then it is a chemical change or a chemical reaction, one or the same thing. Now let's move ahead. Now, some action-packed info, guys, very interesting and important for you. The food that we eat produces energy on digestion. This energy converts into other forms of energy that we use for various activities. Such conversion of energy takes place through a chemical reaction called respiration. Obviously, the food which we eat goes inside our body and digestion takes place. Now, through this digestion, energy is released. But this energy is converted to other forms of energy through a process called respiration, which is a chemical change. Alright? And through that change only, which is the cellular respiration, takes place in the cell, we get energy of different kinds to do different work. Now, let's move ahead. Rusting, an example of a chemical change. What happens in case of rusting? Let's see. This is iron. It comes in contact with oxygen and water. It can be liquid water or water vapor. Then iron oxide is formed on the surface of this iron. And this iron oxide is actually your rust. It is reddish brown in color. आपने देखा है लोहे पे जंग लग जाती है. It's the same thing. A chemical reaction. A new substance has been formed. That is rust. Let's move ahead. Galvanization. Galvanizing. An iron surface is coated with a layer of another metal like zinc or chromium. It is a permanent solution to rusting. Rusting ना हो, इसका ये सबसे permanent solution है. You must have seen the supply of water through the water pipes, you know, in the city. And those water pipes are made up of iron, पर उन पे कभी जंग नहीं लगती because they are galvanized pipes. The iron has been covered with a layer of zinc or chromium and they do not rust. So even at your home, the water pipes, जो pipelines होती हैं, they are galvanized pipes which are commonly used for the supply of water and it's a permanent solution. Rusting होगी ही नहीं क्योंकि iron, oxygen और water, liquid water या water vapor के contact में आएगा ही नहीं, तो rusting का problem ही नहीं है. Isn't it a permanent solution? Let's move ahead. Now, characteristics of chemical reaction. What are the few characteristics of chemical reaction? The first is evolution of gas. If there is evolution of gas, then it is a chemical reaction. Now, the gas may be odorless or it may have a peculiar odor. या तो बिल्कुल smell नहीं आएगी या कोई एक particular smell आएगी. For example, at your home, LPG, liquefied petroleum gas or the cooking gas, if the stove knob is on and you have not lit it up, a particular smell comes. And sometimes there is no smell at all. So it depends. Then effervescence means bubbles are formed in the liquid. Sometimes you must have seen in your chemistry lab that you're putting some chemicals and woof, a kind of a foam or bubbles are coming. That is effervescence. That also shows that it's a chemical reaction. Then let's see ahead. Change in color. Sometimes there is a change in color due to the formation of a new substance. When the reactants combine, so sometimes a new substance has a different color. So if there is a change in color, it shows that it is a chemical reaction. Other than that, absorption or evolution of heat. Obviously, when there is a chemical change, sometimes energy is absorbed or sometimes it is released. But there will be one or the two things. या तो energy utilize होगी या energy release out होगी. ऐसा कभी नहीं हो सकता कि ना ही absorb हो रही है और ना ही release हो रही है. If it is a chemical reaction, energy will either be absorbed or it will be released. But out of the two, one condition will be there. So this also shows that it is a chemical reaction, okay, or a chemical change. Now, change in physical state. Sometimes what happens in case of chemical reactions that the physical state of the products is different from the physical state of reactants. For example, over here, if you see, the reactants are in aqueous state, but the product is in gaseous state and over here in liquid state. So this shows that sometimes the products can have a different state of matter in comparison to the reactants. This also shows that it's a chemical change or a chemical reaction. Let's move ahead. Formation of precipitates. Now, what is a precipitate? Sometimes in a chemical reaction, you must have seen that an insoluble kind of a substance is formed. That particular insoluble solid substance is known as precipitate, जो हमें कई बार अलग से float करता हुआ दिखाई देता है या settle down bottom पे दिखाई देता है. That is a precipitate. So when you have mixed two chemicals and a chemical reaction has taken place, so sometimes some part is precipitated out. एक अलग से insoluble solid substance बन जाता है. That also shows that what is happening, a chemical change or a chemical reaction, isn't it? Fine, so with this we have come to the end of this super sweet session and I hope that you all have subscribed to the Educative YouTube channel. If you haven't done so, children, it's the right time to do it. The subscription button is just given below. I know you all have loved this video, so it's time to press the like button. Until the time we meet again, be happy, be safe and keep enriching yourself with Educative. Bye-bye, children.